Hey there everyone, this is Jeffrey with Killaskila Gaming and welcome back to Silent Hill F. This is the fifth playthrough, second and hopefully final episode. We are at the final location of the Dark Shrine where we're going to go up against our final boss, which is sort of new and some old too, I think. And we are going for ending 3, which is going to be our last of the 5 endings. Plus, we are on the hardest difficulty, which makes me a little nervous for this, because I know there's multiple stages here. Fortunately, the boss trophy doesn't sound too bad, but we'll see how that plays out. So, I'm going to get right to it, and I will reconnect with you when we get to the final area. So, see you all later. Okay. Hey there everyone, future me here. We just got to the last save spot. I'm pretty filled up on items, so I don't know that I'm gonna be able to pick a bunch up. Some things here or there, but... Hey gosh, I don't know if I have room for that. No, I don't. So, as I've been saying, I'm kind of worried about this, because I know... we're not necessarily... I haven't really shown much fighting in this. Oh, nice. But, you know, it's been hit or miss in some areas. I've mostly been avoiding enemies through this playthrough, and I've only really had trouble with, like, one fight, but... I think we're just gonna have to chance it, since I'm already full up on a few things. We're just gonna save here. Okay. So before we start this, I have it on good authority that because we are playing as IRL Hinako, we are going to be fighting the Shiromuku for a short period. I don't know if it's a full fight. I hope not, because we actually have a boss to go up against. The boss trophy in this case is a pretty easy one as far as comparing them to the others. It's said that as you go through the phases of the fight with the boss, it will start to summon enemies as it gets weaker, and you want to make sure to take those enemies out before taking out the boss. Hopefully it only summons them once per phase or something like that, because this could be really hard, in which case we'll just try our best. It does give you the option to decrease it if you can't handle it, but I really want to get that difficulty trophy in this, so we're gonna try, and that should get us the specific boss trophy, and then if everything else goes smoothly, we will be able to, you know, finish this off. So I have a couple knives, sickle. I got the PP, of course, and it's in good condition now. And I figured I'll use the blade for last, but the knives seem to dish out quite a bit of damage, so I think I'll probably start off with those. And I have pretty much mostly health stuff on the left here, plus the Kudzu though what I have left of it. Oh, I should probably prime the other items. So we don't have chocolate or Higashi. So what could let's do divine water, maybe. And I'll do Arare here, and let's do the tea on the other one. Where's the tea? Oh, did it move? No, it did not. Where's my tea? There it is. Okay. So it's just gonna be a matter of trying, you know... Actually, I'm gonna save just so I don't have to redo that. It's just a matter of just trying not to die here. Make sure I'm on the health side for now. So, hopefully this won't be too bad, but... We'll see if the date on here changes, right? It's December 1st when I'm doing this, so... Let's see how many days this takes me, right?
なんてしぶとい。そんなにもあなたには未練があるの？
私であって何が悪いの？私はまだ、いつまでも私でいたいのに。
あなたの気持ちもわかる。不安よね、怖いわよね。でもそれは乗り越えられるものなのよ。乗
り越えるかどうかは私が決めること。誰にも勝手に決めさせたくない。
もう遅すぎるの。あまりに遅すぎる。これは。
What you gonna do now, huh?
遅いも早いもない。決断した。それが大事。お前殺したはずなのに今さら私を惑わせるな。もう遅いも早いもない。これは決断。清水ひな子の決断なの。決断は私がした。私が求めるものは新しい性。お前は消えろ。決断は私がした。お前が消えろ。清水ひな子に戻れ。
Got it again.
花嫁にはふさわしくないわいだ。
あなたは一体何者なの？
その言葉はそのまま返そう。君こそ何者だ。ひな子に何がついた？どうやってこの聖域に入り込んだ？正体を見せろ。ひな子
I figured that was gonna happen.
信じてたぜ相棒。 お前なら絶対に示せると思ってた。自分の本当の気持ちをな。汚れめ、どこから入り込んだ。
So is it coming from Kotoyuki this time? Him changing? I like that twist. This is cool.
逃げるぞ。
That's how it's different. Okay. Oh boy.
あなたは何者なの？
Oh boy. Here we go. Oh, shoot. Okay, let's use up the knife first. Oh, nice. Okay. Gotcha. Oh, he's stunned. He's stunned. He's stunned. Oh. Dang, dude. Oh. No, don't go into it. Where are you? Oh. Oh, no, he's done. Okay.
幸せにするためにあらゆる努力をした。
Okay, we gotta take out these guys.
世を学び、作法を学び、技能を学び、全てを収めた。富も家も名声も君が人のようで一切苦労しなくて済む全てを揃えた。
Come on, we got this, we got this. Oh, we keep summoning them, crap.
なぜこの思いが伝わらんのだ。
Okay. Come on, get in there. Oh, crap. Oh, no, 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 no. No, 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 wrong one, wrong one. Ooh. Oh, get up, get up. Screw you, game. Double screw you for the action suggestion. Crap. Come on, dude. That's not what I meant to do. Alright.
幸せにするためにあらゆる努力をした人の世を学び作法を学び学問を学び全てを収め富家も名声も君が人の世で一切の苦労をしなくて済む全てを揃えた
Gotcha.
なぜこの思いが伝わらんのだ
No, come on. Okay, let's use this up. Oh, shoot. Are you kidding me?
私が欲しいもの望むものはあなたと同じです。
それは何だ
Oh, I didn't mean this with weapons.
私の望むもの
Oh, crap.
自分の性を自分の翼で羽ばたくそしてその行く末を自ら選ぶことです。
それはどういう意味だ なぜこの思いが伝わ
Yeah,
ら
I
ぬ
think
の
that was it. Oh, no, 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 no. Come on, come on, come on. Oh, no, 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 no. No, no, no. Come on, let's go down. Oh no. Come on, come on. Come on.
は私に恋し、
Oh
私
crap.
をめとるために
Okay.
人生を激しく生きた。私も自らの人生をあなたのように激しく生きたいのです。
女は男の求愛を受けること、何よりも幸福ではないのか。
私の幸福は私が決めます。他の誰かに与えられるものじゃない。
羽ばたかずには死ぬ。そういうことか。
あなたの嫌いを受けたら羽ばたく喜びも辛さも知ることができないんです。
ならば羽ばたいてみせる。なる軽々と飛び越えてみせろ。
Come on, dude. Oh my god. I'll fight him. Okay, they gave me a health item. Please tell me this is the last one. Oh crap. I don't wanna... Oh, come on. Come on, come on, come on.
Yeah.
Oh, that worked? That was it? I thought for sure they're gonna make me fight it again. I'm crying.
あなたの求愛を生涯忘れません。そしてありがとう。
平子、こっちだ、早く。
行きなさい。後始末は私の方でつけておく。
お前と宇宙戦争ごっこで遊んだことを思い出した。だからお前は俺とヒナコの戦友だ。
早く行くといい。私が宇宙人の役になって君を食べてしまうこともできるのだからね。
また会おう、戦友。
Okay, so he did play with us when we were younger. I was wondering about that.
男なら引き際も大事か。
大丈夫か？
ありがとう。シュウが助けてくれなかったら、私は自分の勇気を保てなかった。
逆だろ。お前が自分の勇気を出したからこそ、俺はお前を助けようと思ったんだぜ。
その勇気を持つのに時間をかけすぎて、大勢に迷惑をかけた。
そのためにお前が自分の人生を諦めなくちゃならないってのは、俺はおかしいと思うぜ。
ありがとう、相棒。それにしてもお前、ネクタイ似合わないな。
うっせえ、お前だってそれ似合ってね
うっせえ。
Okay, so, oop. Our last save, last clear game. I love it. That's awesome. That was a wild ride, I tell you, the whole kit and caboodle. Okay, so we'll see if there's anything here, and as per the usual, I'm going to see myself out and come back after I've had some time to read. There's some things I wanted to actually look into. I don't know if they're going to amount to anything, but you know, if you know. I thought it was just going to be the same old loading screen. Oh, I love that. Hey there, everyone. Future me here. I pulled the description for the ending and took a few notes on things that I thought may be of interest for some discussion, debate. Please, as always, drop in the comments if you have thoughts on this. First, the description for the ending. This is ending 3, of course, our final ending of 5. In the fox wets its tail ending, Hinako's human self defeats her fox self and rejects Kotoyuki, who becomes enraged. Hinako defeats him and returns to Ebisogaoka with Shu. A radio broadcast later reveals that Ebisogaoka was evacuated due to the eruption of several geysers within the town. So previously we had talked about, or I had talked about, my thoughts on essentially the gods that were involved in this story in the last few playthroughs. And so one of the main ones that we brought up was, of course, we talked about who Kotoyuki is. And an extension here is, what we just fought, the Shichibi, which I thought was really important. So the trophy for the boss fight was called Fox Tamer, and the description was just defeated all the summoned monsters before putting an end to the Shichibi. And I didn't know what Shichibi meant, which is why I wasn't saying what it was. And so I wanted to kind of compare it to Kyubi because they were essentially the same type of boss fight. So I kind of did some Shichibi versus Kyubi research, and there wasn't much here, but first of all, Shichibi apparently means 7 tails. And we talked about Kyubi, which, like I said, the full phrasing for that is Kyubi no Kitsune, which is supposed to be 9-tailed fox. So I think they're just exchanges of the same words. Of course, there is some difference there, though. The Shichibi looks like what we would call in the States a red fox versus a gray fox, because those are the two kind of main species we have around here, at least where I'm from. So just speaking for myself. And I don't know the diversity of fox spread around the world. I know they're quite common in other places, especially, it's a big part of the story, and, they're found in the Arctic regions. I mean, foxes have a pretty widespread ground coverage. What's the word I'm trying to think of? Widespread range. So the geography they cover. So the red fox, which around here is known as Vulpes vulpes, that's the Latin name for it. That's the species we have. They essentially have like the reddish fur that I think a lot of people would associate with foxes. And I think in this case, the difference between the Shichibi and the Kyubi is that the Shichibi represents Kotoyuki himself. It's the fox that possessed Kotoyuki. And then if you look at the gray fox, which is Eurasian Scenario Argentius, I think I'm saying that right. That's the gray fox essentially, and that's what the Kyubi kind of looked like. And I think it was suggested that in the story, not directly stated, but somebody said, I think down the road when I was reading it, and I probably brought this up when we did ending 2, that they thought the Kyubi was supposed to be one of Kotoyuki's ancestors. I don't know if it means ancestor. I'm assuming it means ancestor of the family, because they mentioned somebody being drunk, somebody that he knows being drunk. And I think in this story, maybe this just represents that maybe there's more than one representative for Inari-sama. So we have two different people that were possessed by a fox spirit, and I'm thinking that that just represents the foxes that possessed them, essentially. In extension to that, there were two other things that were kind of on my mind, and I kind of had them grouped up with the fox mask side of things here, the Kotoyuki Shu side of things here. One was the term Hierogamy that kept coming up, or Hierogamy, if you want to break that up into two words. So Hyro versus Gamo, essentially. And I was saying how, in biology, I always think of Gamy and the term as things being created or things being fused together to create something new, because that's how we use the term a lot. And the name Hyro in this case essentially means holy or sacred. And Gamy, I looked up the root word for this, is apparently like marriage. And so Hierogamy in this case is supposed to be like a holy marriage or a sacred marriage, essentially a marriage between gods is kind of what they're saying. And I don't know if they're talking about, I'm assuming they're talking about the kind of spirited away side of this, so God to human, because clearly the gods here are in conflict with each other. So I'm assuming that's what they're kind of referring to here. I don't remember what the documents quite said. So that was one thing I wanted to look up. The other thing I wanted to look up was there's a name that shows up very early in the game. There's a missing persons poster for somebody by the name of Mayumi. And there are documents you can get in the Dark Shrine. And I think they change based on difficulty in some way, because I realized I am missing documents from that. So I was going to read them, but unfortunately I only have like 2 of them, I think. And I think there are more. So, even though I went through this game with a fine-tooth comb, I'm still missing things. And so maybe that was tied to action difficulty or something. And maybe I should have played, different difficulties in that sense. But what I got out of it when I started kind of looking into who she was is that those documents are kind of a forewarning to us as to what's happening to us or what's going to happen to us. So apparently Mayumi was a girl that was spirited away in a previous Fox's wedding. And so people don't know who she is anymore. She's been essentially lost to time. I don't know how long back this goes. My headcanon keeps telling me maybe, if we're being taken by the Shichibi, maybe she was the one taken by the Kyubi is kind of what I'm thinking, maybe. As kind of a way to explain that. I'm not entirely sure, though. I don't know if there's any grounds as to how long she's been missing. Remember, the idea of a fox's wedding is they get spirited away and they're never heard from again, and eventually they're just lost to time. People forget them. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about as far as that aspect of the ending of the game. In addition, I thought I'd bring up the name of the ending is called The Fox Wets Its Tail, and the description, in fact, let's pull it up. The description, a hell of your own choosing, nothing else matters now. It's kind of interesting to me because I'm like, obviously the Coming Home to Roost ending is a really dark take on this story because of the pills, essentially, because of the White Claudia. And then the Fox's Wedding and the Fox Wets Its Tail have 2 very different takes that actually have quite a dark ending to them. And the aspect of that really interested me is because, in the Fox's Wedding, the Tsukumagami is the one that loses out in the end. The fox gets what it wants. In this case, it goes the opposite way. And I remember when I was watching this, which was yesterday for me, so this is just a day ahead. And when I was watching this, I was thinking, when we got to the epilogue, I'm like, okay, everything seems happy up to this point. I'm like, what's the downfall here? Something's going to go wrong. And I was like, what's going to be wrong with the Tsukumagami? Because in this case, the Tsukumagami is what won out. And if you recall, when we talked about the Tsukumagami, we're essentially looking at the clan that brought the sacred sword to Abisu Gaoka, and that's what we ended up getting in the end. But we didn't purify the blade this time. We did not use the Hotai-sama's cure, or the Gyora no Hotai-sama in this case, which is, why when you look at the Fox's Wedding, if you don't have the Agura no Hotai-sama, you don't have a way to expel the spirit. But in this case, we had the sword unpurified. We didn't have the Agura no Hotai-sama, so, that's where the Tsukumagami wins out in this ending. And I thought it was really interesting. I was trying to dig up some documents on this, and I couldn't find anything offhand. But of course, as the epilogue showed us, there was an evacuation. There was some kind of geyser eruption, and they were talking about hydrogen sulfide being released out into the air, which I've experienced that in real life. It is very overbearing, is the best way I can describe it. If you've ever smelled hydrogen sulfide, it kind of smells like rotten eggs because of the sulfur that's coming up. Sulfur has a really strong smell to it. And when I was working on my doctoral dissertation, my main focus was on something we call acid mine drainage, which is basically where you have mining minerals, and this is a natural thing. It doesn't have to come from mining sites, but mining sites tend to exacerbate the effect, which is if you get a bunch of water and open oxygen that you would get from mining into the minerals, basically what happens is you're going to have this mineral kind of degrade and bleed out essentially sulfuric acid, along with whatever heavy metals you might have in the minerals. And a byproduct of that comes off of this is, of course, you have microbes in the water that feed off of that stuff. They feed off the metals, they feed off the sulfate, and they'll kind of continually cause this stuff to get worse by kind of just exacerbating the oxidation of the solution and the minerals with it. And when I was on site, the one time I went down to my study site, which is in like southern Illinois, is where it's from, there was this very nauseating smell of hydrogen sulfide in the air. And I thought it was really interesting because I'd never smelled it that strong before. So it was actually like, it didn't even smell like rotten eggs to me at that point. It was kind of like if you've ever been like in the vicinity of a skunk spray versus actually being like close enough to really get the nauseous part of it. That's kind of the effect it was having. So if you know what a skunk spray smells like, imagine being sprayed like up front by it, because there's a huge difference in how that you're going to experience that. You don't really smell it anymore. It just burns at that point. And that's kind of the experience I had with it. So I was trying to find documents that talked a little bit more about that, but if I recall, I think I was trying to see if there was any other aspect of this where there was something else going on there, but I thought it was interesting that that's kind of the outcome that happened by the Tsukumagami coming out on top. And it made me start questioning something. I was kind of wondering is this why the town is cleared out? Like, obviously Silent Hill historically is not supposed to be covered in fog. That's an experience that these people have because of being drawn to the town. In this case, is that why Ibiso Gaoka is completely devoid of people? Was this happening no matter what, and we just got the worst of it in the end? I kind of wonder if the town was evacuated in the other endings, and that's why, things weren't quite what they seem. I'm not sure, because obviously this is the only ending where Tsukumagami comes out on top, because we have the initial ending where things don't play out well for either side. We have the second ending where it plays out in favor of the fox, the third ending where it plays out in favor of the Tsukumagami, and then we have the fourth ending which comes out in favor for us. Nothing is really resolved in terms of the gods, but we get what we want in the end. We have a choice in what we're doing, and we're not taking everything else down with us. And so I kind of wonder if that's I think somebody had brought it up, is if that was happening anyways, that way the town was devoid of life. Or again, because a lot of this we're supposed to be experiencing in our mind, right? That's a big part of Silent Hill is psychology. And one thing that I was kind of noting, and I think I even made a motion of it when the ending was playing off, is how Shu and Hinako are running through the streets, basically right here, at the general store, because this is Chizoruya. And she's talking about him being dressed up with a tie on, and I'm like, you're both wearing your school uniforms, so obviously we're getting a bit of a different take of what's really going on here, right? So I assume that everything that's been playing out in the story is actually taking place at the shrine where they were supposed to get married, and that they ran back to Abiso Gaoka after that, and maybe the town, and in this case maybe the eruption had already happened and the town's been evacuated because there was nobody else here still. But it started to make me wonder if maybe this had already happened and the town was already cleared out before the marriage, and who knows what else is going on. But I just thought that was kind of an interesting take. Like, what if this was really going on regardless and had nothing to do with the Tsukumagami coming out on top? It just made things worse by having it come out on top. So I thought that was kind of interesting. That was my last little bit of information that I wanted to share. So thanks if you're still here, still listening, and let me know in the comments. What did you think? I will say, from my first experience with this game, I had mixed feelings when I started off. I gave my breakdown at the end of how I felt about the game, and I think the replayability being as good as it was, especially for the second and third playthroughs, especially how it doesn't just tie to the New Game Plus feature, it ties to the endings, and I really like that, how the ending of the game was different for every ending. The things were, you were experiencing something a little bit different. And if you've watched any of my other playthroughs, the third playthrough where I did the fourth ending was, it hit pretty hard, some of the stuff that went on, near end game. So I really have a high appreciation for this game in that stead. I don't like to give numbers. I think I said originally I'd probably do about a 7 out of 10, maybe an 8 out of 10 for this. I would say now that's easily a 10 out of 10, maybe a 9 out of 10 with the combat of the game, because I still hate it. But Lost in the Fog was not worth playing other than getting the trophies. I did not have fun with that at all. So I definitely would say my opinion of the game has come out very strong by doing the follow-up playthroughs, and I really hope people will take advantage of that. And again, let me know in the comments, how did you feel? So, with that being said, I've been playing this like non-stop for the past month, not including my first playthrough back in September. It is time to put this game to bed. I have my platinum trophy now. I'm really excited I got to share this, that I get to share this with people. I hope you got something out of this if you watched through to this point. But for now, I don't think there's going to be any DLC for this. Who knows? But for now, at least, thank you all for joining, and I will see you all later.